Hey there, welcome back to another video by ChemEnggLife in collaboration with JobMink Consulting. In this video, we are going to look into some of the mistakes that you should avoid in your resume in order to optimize your job search. So do watch the video till the very end if you would like to know what things you should avoid, and do not forget to visit our website at www.ChemEnggLife.com, where you can get in touch with different consultants of JobMink Consulting that can possibly help you in your job search. So let's begin. The very first thing that we have on the list is for you to avoid exaggeration and falsification. Quite frankly, it is a no-brainer that you shouldn't overly exaggerate in your resume, and you definitely should not be lying in your resume. For example, you should clearly write what you were doing, what you were working, and do not overly exaggerate into as far as the titles or what are the stuff you were doing, because the problem is if you lie in your resume, they are going to find out one way or another. And let's say you lied for a very small minor thing. If they find out, you're going to put your entire resume is going to end up having a question mark. You are going to ruin your credibility, and every single thing you say, even if you are telling the truth, will be met with suspicion. So therefore, it's the easiest mistake to make if you would like to ruin your credibility in an interview and in your job search. So please do not lie and exaggerate in your resume. Second thing that we have on our list is for you to avoid unprofessional email addresses. And believe it or not, but it is actually one of the most common mistakes that people make in their resumes. The email that you made when you were 16-year-old kid, that is not gonna live up to the standards when you are looking for an adult job, right? The basic formula is that when you are setting up an email that you're going to be using for your job search or everything else when you're past the age of 15, then it should be your first name and your last name at the rate of whatever you want to sign up for. If you have a very common name, for example, and it's taken, then you can always do your first name, second last name, and a number, for example, at the rate of .com. Bad boy 420 or cool boy, those emails, they're gonna leave a very bad impression, because obviously when you're applying for a job, they are gonna expect you to be a professional person. They are gonna expect you to behave professionally. And obviously, let's say if you are applying to be a consultant, for example, then you will be responsible for carrying the reputation of the entire company when you're talking to clients. So if you yourself are walking around with a funny little email, I mean, that's going to give off a very bad vibe to your recruiter. Another thing that we have on the list is for you to avoid adding irrelevant information. Now, there are two parts to it. The first one is that do not add anything that is irrelevant for the job search, for example. Just because you won second place in a pie eating contest, it has no value in your job search, right? Voted as the funniest in high school, that is not really going to help the shareholder value when you're applying for your job, right? So focus on the stuff that are relevant to begin with. Relevant, generally relevant for the job search, that makes you come across as professional, makes you come across as competent. The second thing is, also make sure that you're not adding stuff that is irrelevant for the specific job that you're applying for. It could be that you did a lot of things in your previous role, but if, for example, data analysis is not something that is very critical for the job that you're applying for, there's no point for you to put a lot of focus on it in your resume. Your resume is not your entire life story. It is only supposed to have the stuff that can prove and show to the recruiter that you are competent enough to do the job that you're applying for. So therefore, keep that at the back of your head when you're writing your resume. Obviously, when you get to the interview, that's when then you can talk about everything that you have done and try to connect that with the job that you're applying for. But in a limited space, if for your resume, try to focus on stuff that is actually relevant for the job. Another one that we have is for you to avoid lengthy paragraphs. And you may have seen that in some of the resumes, they tend to write very long paragraphs under their work experience, describing what they did. Now, It is actually preferred that you use bullet points in your resume instead of paragraphs. And there is a logic behind it though. You must remember that the recruiters, they most typically spend 8 to 10 seconds skimming through resumes. But the first impression is obviously the last impression. The second thing is, if I look at a resume and there are a bunch of paragraphs written under the work experience, and if I have to sit down and I have to read those entire paragraphs and then make sense of it, I mean, I'm not going to waste that much time for one resume, right? On the other hand, if another person have created bullet points that clearly describes, highlights what they have done, how that is relevant for the job that they're looking for, obviously I'll be much more attracted to that resume as compared to the other one. And it's all about communicating what you want to the recruiter. The bullet points do that perfectly because it is a limited information that you're giving out to the person, and it's a very targeted approach. So therefore, remember to use bullet points and avoid using paragraphs under your work experience or education or any of your experiences in your resume. Another one is for you to avoid unprofessional fonts and formatting. Your resume is not the place for you to show your paint skills. And unless you're applying for a job as a clown in a circus, I don't think people would like to see funny fonts and very colored, exuberant colors in your resume. For example, if you compare the one on the left to the one on the right, and I sincerely hope that you believe that the left one is indeed unprofessional for a job setting and the right one is indeed the way to go. The main goal here is that the font that you select, typically there are 3 fonts that are most common. There's Times New Roman, Arial, and Helvetica. You can never go wrong with these 3 because they are very basic fonts and they are very easy to read. Anyone can read them, anyone can work with them, and they don't overcrowd your resume either. You don't need to get creative in your resume. Do not use a lot of bright colors in your resume. If you have to use colors, for example, it could be if you have to highlight some sections or bring attention to some areas, you can use like monotone colors, gray colors, and that could work. But typically, try to make it as clean and as professional as possible. Another very common mistake in resumes is the grammatical errors and spelling errors. Now, the thing is that if you are if you have a master's in anything, right? I think it could be safe to assume that you can spell. If you are applying to be a senior engineer or even like someone that is going to be working with very high level data, or is going to be presenting information to the higher management, they are going to expect you at bare minimum to be able to spell correctly. That's the first thing. Do not make spelling errors because that comes off as incredibly unprofessional. The second thing are grammatical errors. Now, if your resume is in English, or in any other language, and that language is a requirement for the job that you're applying for, then obviously again it will be expected that you know how to write a sentence. You don't necessarily have to be a novelist writing this, but you should bare minimum be able to create a sentence that is readable. And the logic behind doing all this is obviously that you don't want to come across as unprofessional, but at the same time, imagine that the job that you're applying for requires a great deal of detail orientedness, right? And in your skills section, you have written yourself that you're very detail oriented and you are very attentive to detail and everything. That should obviously match with your resume. If you cannot make sure that your resume is without errors, then how would your hiring manager trust that they can trust you with a data that could with tasks that are very high level? Like a single mistake could cost the company millions of dollars, for example. How would they be able to trust you with that, right? So therefore, try to avoid making grammatical errors and spelling mistakes. The best way to do this is actually to read it out loud sometimes, or give it to someone else and ask them to read it for you. Because sometimes, if you get another set of eyes to look at your resume, they are much more attentive to these mistakes than you could be. Another one is for you to avoid ignoring employment gaps. Now, regardless if you write it or you don't write it, they are going to ask you about your employment gap. If there is a substantial gap between your employments, they are going to assume that you were unemployed and that you were unable to get employment. But if you had a very good reason for that gap in your resume, then it is always a good idea for you to mention it in your resume. It is much better for them to know that you were on paternity leave as compared to them believing that you were unemployed for 1 year, or that you were unable to find employment for that 1 year. So therefore, unless you were in jail or something, if you had a very good reason to take a gap, you should mention that in your resume. It could be that you had to take a gap to take care of your children, you had some personal stuff to matter to, you were taking a trip around Europe, you were doing something else. If it has a very good reason, mention it in your resume. Another one, and a very common one, is to avoid excessive jargon in your resume. A lot of people believe sometimes that if they sound smart in their resume, they're going to come across as very smart as well. Using some very high sounding words is not going to make you come across as being incredibly smart. Keep your sentences very simple. Make sure that they are actually understandable by the recruiter, and make sure that you're not excessively using thesaurus to find complex words to fill the gaps in your resume. So therefore, it is always a good idea for you to remember that keep your resume simple. The main goal of your resume is for it to be understandable by the people that are looking at that resume. If you cannot achieve that goal, then it does not matter how cool you sound. There's no point of your resume in that area. So therefore, keep it simple and avoid excessive jargon. And these were all the tips or the things for you to avoid in your resume if you want the resume to land you your dream job. And we really hope that you agree with most of the stuff, and hope that you can use this and start avoiding these things in your job search. If you still need help with your job search, then please do visit our website and get in touch with JobMink consulting people, because they can help you with your one-on-one feedback on your resume, your mock interviews, and even for your interview prep, so that you are much more prepared for the interviews. And also, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to Chemical Engineering Life channel for more videos. Thank you, and have a great day.